Universal Design for Learning in a Middle School Classroom, a professional research presentation by Cara Smith. Question: how does using universal design for learning support students' learning in a middle school classroom? Introduction. It is important for middle-level educators to incorporate universal design for learning into their curriculums because it helps them to reach the widest range of students in their classrooms. This kind of learning environment is beneficial as it can meet the needs of all the students, as well as encourage students to explore the content based on their personal interests, preferences, and abilities. It also allows students to demonstrate their skills and knowledge of content using one of several methods. Using UDL can be an engaging method of helping students understand content along with gaining knowledge of it. The definition of universal design for learning. Universal design for learning is a set of principles for curriculum development that give all individuals equal opportunities to learn. Provides a blueprint for creating instructional goals, methods, materials, and assessments that work for everyone, not a single one-size-fits-all solution, but rather flexible approaches that can be customized and adjusted for individual needs. Provides teachers with ways to increase students' access to curricular materials, and is about pedagogy or instructional practices used for students with or without disabilities. Why is universal design for learning necessary? Each individual brings a variety of skills, needs, and interests to learning. According to neuroscience, this variety is as unique as our DNA. Three primary networks which come into play are recognition network, the what of doing. This is how we gather facts and categorize what we see, hear, and read. Strategic network, the how of learning, planning and performing tasks and how we organize and express our ideas. Affective networks, the why of learning, how learners get engaged and stay motivated. 7 guiding principles can be applied to both technological and pedagogical needs. Flexibility in use is evident when teachers design instruction that accommodates a wide range of students' preferences and abilities. Equitable use of instructional materials can be achieved through technology such as digital text. Perceptible information is the use of various ways to present and practice curriculum content. Tolerance for error is best illustrated in software design that takes students through instructional processes when errors are made. Simple and intuitive use refers to content that is presented in straightforward ways and considerate of students' backgrounds. Low physical effort refers to designing activities and materials that are efficient and comfortable when students use them. Size and space for approach and use is important to make sure that the content is large enough for students to see and presented in uncluttered format. Ways which UDL addresses different learning needs based on 3 principles. Multiple means of representation gives learners various ways of acquiring information and knowledge. Multiple means of action and expression provides learners alternatives for demonstrating what they know. Multiple means of engagement taps into learners' interests, offers appropriate challenges, and increases motivation. Representation principle. Planning lessons using a UDL framework ensures that students are learning instruction through multiple means of representation or giving learners various ways of acquiring information and knowledge. How we identify and categorize what we see, hear, and read can affect learning if instruction is not delivered in a way that is accessible to how we recognize information. Providing multiple means of representation will work to ensure that all students are able to make sense of information. Expression principle. Providing multiple means of action and expression can be used to provide learners for demonstrating what learners know. By accessing strategic tasks, educators can help students show what they understand. Some students will be less able to show what they understand if assessments are geared toward an area of deficiency. An example of this could be a mathematical area of difficulty. Engagement principle. Getting students excited about learning can be very challenging in middle school. Using a UDL framework to plan lessons allows teachers to provide multiple means of engagement, piquing the learner's interests, challenging them appropriately, and motivating them to learn. Teachers who provide real-life context may better engage their students. Teachers who use a variety of tasks that work to promote multiple learning styles and preferences will work toward stimulating motivation in a middle school classroom. 4 ways which UDL can improve lessons through learning goals, learning materials, instructional materials, and assessment. Learning goals, aka targets. Learning goals should be clearly stated, observable, measurable, and aligned with grade level standards. If learning goals do not adhere to the 3 UDL principles, barriers may prevent some students from reaching their goals, also known as targets. Often goals are written so as not to limit the way in which students access the information. Learning materials. Using UDL encourages teachers to use materials that are more flexible, enabling them to present concepts in a variety of ways to better meet the needs of a diverse group of learners. Through the application of UDL principles, teachers can make the material more accessible and engaging to a greater number of students. Many students may find the use of materials to be engaging, while others might find them to be challenging. Instructional methods. Teachers should use lessons which promote inquiry, discussions, and varying solution strategies to help promote multiple ways of engaging students and helping them express themselves while learning. Allowing students to generate their own strategies to solve problems will encourage them to express their thought processes in varying ways and help them engage in the lesson through thinking that is meaningful to them. Assessment. When teachers assess using UDL, it should reflect the learning goals, allow for scaffolding or supports, and provide many flexible opportunities to demonstrate a skill, whether those assessments are formative or summative in nature. UDL gives students alternative ways to express what they know. It is good to use multiple tools to assess student learning. Teachers rely on chapter tests, homework assignments, projects, or discussions to gauge understanding of the content being taught. A student should be able to demonstrate knowledge through the means in which he or she learned it. Through technology. Advances in technology have made some UDL strategies much easier to implement. Computers, software, and assistive technology can adapt the curriculum to suit a child's learning style. Middle school teachers can help struggling learners by incorporating technology into their lesson plans. Students' use of technology can increase the accessibility of learning materials, promote scientific literacy, and improve students' attitudes towards learning. The use of technology can be enhanced through video games and assistive technology. Technology through video games. Middle school teachers can improve student science performance using video games which incorporate UDL principles. Research has shown that video games can enhance the education performance of a diverse range of students. Science video games based on UDL principles are most beneficial to struggling learners, helping them to improve their ability to learn complex materials. Video games can enhance the cohesion and coherence of student learning, allowing students to make connections to science concepts. Video games can also provide students with opportunities to see multiple views of the same object or data sets. UDL can be used in math lessons that are rich in content, depth, and sense-making, such as through the use of a video game called Feeding Frenzy. This video game can be used as a math lesson, helping students to improve their rational number concepts, ratios, and proportions. Technology, assistive. The No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act of 2004 ask educators to maximize opportunities for students with disabilities to succeed in inclusive classrooms, many of whom will use assistive technology. Here is where UDL plays an important role in helping educators to meet the demands for equitable education for all students. Computer-enhanced instruction and the use of technology for research projects, presentations, and interactive learning software are important tools in helping middle-level educators meet those demands. For example, textbooks and other reading materials can be made available in a digital format that includes audio, captions, and audio descriptions of visual images and charts. Support for middle school students. Transitions. The transition from elementary school to middle school can be a traumatic time for many students. Any child can have difficulty with this transition. Students with disabilities can have even more difficulty depending on their accommodations and adaptations. Today, with the increased focus on standards-based testing and curriculum, students face even greater challenges disabilities, or not. UDL can help ease the transition to middle school and further help students achieve academic success. The three components which contribute to the success of the transition are curriculum, teaching strategies, and help from parents. Support for middle school students. Curriculum. UDL aims to create curricula that are flexible enough to challenge the most gifted students, students struggling below grade level, and everyone in between. It does this by providing students with alternate ways to explore content using multiple approaches at various levels of complexity. The goal of UDL is to meet each student at his or her current ability level, allowing him or her to advance to more challenging content at an individual pace. Because of this built-in flexibility, UDL helps each student to participate and succeed even when a teacher is less familiar with the individual needs of each student. Implementation of UDL has made it easier for both teachers and students to accommodate to the different learning styles. Alternate ways of learning are built into the curriculum, allowing for a broad range of students to learn and succeed. Support for middle school students. Teaching strategies. Straightforward teaching strategies can make information accessible to students with learning or cognitive disabilities. UDL incorporates simple physical accommodations which can easily be removed as students become more proficient at a skill. This information includes summarizing big ideas, repetition, practice, explicitly stating goals, and giving explicit instruction. Support for middle school students by parents. UDL is a somewhat new concept for both educators and parents. Parents know how hard it is to watch their child struggle in school, knowing that he or she is capable of learning challenging material if given more individualized instruction. By educating teachers, staff, and administration about the concepts of UDL, parents can help shape the future of secondary education by asking teachers if they are familiar with the concept of UDL, see that related goals are incorporated into a student's IEP, and advocate for local school boards and state departments of education for the incorporation of UDL principles into curricular materials. For examples of UDL. If a student learns best through listening, he or she can use a computer to read stories and information aloud or to pronounce new words. If a student learns more easily with large print, curriculum materials can easily be provided in this format. If a student can explain things best by using word processing software and a keyboard rather than using pencil and paper, then that will be the method of choice. If a student struggles to identify the most important points or organize information, he or she can use a computer program that helps students learn by doing. Conclusion. It has been seen that UDL provides an excellent framework for teachers to deliver content in multiple ways to middle school students. In this kind of learning environment where students can engage in and analyze the content, they can both gain understanding and explore the content based on their own personal interests, preferences, and abilities. Allowing students choices of methods in which to learn helps them to demonstrate their skills and knowledge of content. UDL offers a good learning environment meeting the needs of a diversity of learners. References.